So we're actually going to use the fact that triangles are similar in this topic to help us solve for missing sides and angles. We're going to focus on the sides first. So given triangle CTA is similar to triangle MIN, I want you to find x and y. So since I know these triangles are similar, I know that the sides are proportional. Okay, which again we've said over and over again, sides being proportional means that the ratios are the same, the ratios are equal. So the very first step that we want to do is let's match up the sides. Okay, so CT, that's the 9, that's going to go with MI, that's 6. Be very, very careful. A lot of people will assume that CT goes with MN based on what the triangles look like. However, you need to go by the similarity statement, okay? So 9 is paired with 6, TA goes with IN, TA is 8, IN is X, those go together, and then my last sides will go together, okay? Now notice that means that this triangle was kind of flipped over to get to that one, right? And it got a little bit smaller. But our goal is to solve for x and y. So I can actually set up proportions, set up your ratios to find the missing sides. So the ratio that I know is right here in blue, okay? Notice, blue is the only color right now where I know the side length in each triangle. The red, I have y over here. The green, I don't know x over here, okay? So I'm actually going to use this ratio twice. Once to help me find x, once to help me find y, okay? So the ratio that I know is that the ratio of the sides is 9 to 6, okay? Now if sides are proportional, the ratios have to be equal. So the ratio 9 to 6 has to be equal to the ratio of another side, y to 3. Be very careful, make sure that both of your numbers in the numerator of your ratios come from this same triangle, and here they do. And the numbers in the denominator, 6 and 3, come from the same triangle, and they do there as well. Once we set up this proportion, we can solve using the cross product. I can do 6 times y, that's 6y. 9 times 3, that's 27. Do 27 divided by 6, and I get 4.5. And there's my value for y. Okay? And now I'm going to do this again. Okay? I'm going to use that ratio twice, 9 to 6. That's going to have to equal the ratio of my green, 8 to x. Okay? Again, making sure that 9 and 8 come from the same triangle. And now let's solve using the cross product. 6 times 8 is 48. 9 times x is 9x. Divide by 9, and I get x is actually 5.3 repeating, but let's actually just round to 1 decimal point here. So x is going to be 5.3. And I have solved for my missing sides. Okay? Let's look at example 2. We'll work with the angles, and we'll practice with the sides one more time. In example 2, new set of triangles. Given triangle BRO is similar to triangle THO. Let's find the missing angles first. Now remember, corresponding angles are congruent. So what's very important is let's mark our diagram first. Angle B is going to go with angle T. So B and T are going to be congruent. Well, that means if B is 23, I now know that T is 23. Okay? R is going to go with H. So angle R, I'm going to give 2 tick marks. Angle H, I'm going to give 2 tick marks. Well, if R is 50, that means H is 50. Okay? And last but not least, O goes with O. So 3 tick marks on O, 3 tick marks on O. But now I don't know either one of those. However, in previous classes, we've learned 3 angles in a triangle have to add up to 180. So add the 2 angles I'm given. 50 plus 23, that's 73. Take that, subtract it from 180, and I get 107. So even though it doesn't look obtuse, this last angle is 107 degrees. All right? So I found all of the missing angles. Now let's find the length of all of the missing sides. So if I look in this smaller triangle, none of my sides are missing there. And I look in this bigger triangle here, I have 2 sides that are missing. Whenever you see sides that are missing with nothing labeled there, I would put some variables on there. So I'm going to call this side OT X, and OH, I'm going to call this side Y. And now remember, before we get started, we want to match up our sides and our angles. So BR, that's BR is going to go with TO, or sorry, excuse me, TH. Those are going to get a circle. RO goes with HO, and I'm going to put a square on those sides. And then my last sides will go together. 5 will go with X. Again, looking at my 3 different sides and their corresponding sides, there's only one color where I know the side length in both triangles, and that's here in blue. So I know the ratio of my sides is 7 to 17.5 inches. Okay? That ratio, how those 2 numbers relate to each other, has to be the same for every single side, since they are proportional. So let's set up a proportion. 7 over 17.5 has to equal, let's solve for x first, 5 over x. Remember, double check, do 7 and 5 come from the same triangle? Yes, so we're good to go. And let's cross multiply. So I get 7 times x equals 87.5. And divide by 7 on both sides, and I get that x is 12.5. So that means the length that I was missing up here is 12.5. Okay? And let's do that again. The ratio that I know is 7 to 17.5. That has to be the same as the ratio 3 to y. So I can set them equal, and we can do the cross product. 7y equals 52.5. Divide by 7, and you get 7.5 for y. And that's the length of my other missing side, 7.5 right here. Okay? So the quickest method to find all the missing angles is to match them up and use congruent angles, and then to find missing sides is to set up my proportions. And good luck on your homework. Good night.